Today's video, we're going to talk about running PMAX versus shopping campaigns at the same time. How to do it. So in general, right off the bat, just to let you know, you cannot run a PMAX and standard shopping campaign at the same time. Now, there are always, if there's a will, there's a way to do this that you actually can run both. And when I say run both, I mean for the same exact items, which normally your PMAX is going to take priority and hog all the impressions on those items. You were to know nothing else and just run those two campaigns at the same time. I will explain how you run them both at the same time for the same items, and when and where you would actually want to do that. That is, it's going to benefit you and make you a profit in addition to any profit you could get with just one standalone campaign by itself or one or the other for that particular item. So I will go into detail on those points on today's video. I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a online advertising agency that specializes in getting guaranteed results for clients before charging fees. We're the only agency on the planet who offers any kind of contingency guarantee on their services at all. We're able to do that because I've got 20 years of advertising experience to develop the strategy to get results at a high rate. And with that, the information you're getting on this video here today is going to be good for the same reasons. So with that said, if you stay to the end of the video, I will give you some case studies here, how much money you can make if you're in a situation where you would want to run both, so you can see how much this is actually going to give you if you're going to go ahead and take this advice and run the campaigns at the same time. Or, if you will, switching from at the same time to just switching to run one as well. I'll go over that. So with that said, here are the ways that you can run a actual PMAX and shopping campaigns at the same time. First of which, here on my list of a grand total of 2 things on this list, unique products can be ran in separate campaigns. So you can run a PMAX campaign if you sell, let's say 5 items are in your store, 5 items in your Google Merchant Center account. You could run 3 of those in a PMAX campaign, 2 of those in a standard shopping, and technically then run a hybrid setup where you have a PMAX and a standard shopping campaign going in the same account. That is to run the shopping placements, because technically you could run a PMAX and a standard shopping campaign at the same time to promote the same items. Standard shopping campaign is not going to run for those items because it's already being picked up by the PMAX campaign. That's technically not running them at the same time for the same item. The only way to run those standard shopping campaigns and PMAX campaigns for the shopping placements on the same exact items at the same exact time is when your products that you're running in both campaigns do not run in your PMAX campaign anymore. And then with that, you're able to be picked up by the standard shopping campaign that you have going and that you're kind of basically using as a fail-safe or backup campaign to run those items. If you have your PMAX campaign set up to get a 400% ROAS, and it's getting it, but on a certain item that you sell, no matter what happens, it cannot get any sales on a certain item. Eventually, the PMAX campaign, as it's supposed to do, will stop promoting that item altogether. It will just completely give up on it. And by the way, this will take a long, long time because a lot of times for an item, it needs to find the 1% of everything it tries to know how to predictably get an ROI or /ROAS on that particular item. Once they filter out the incomes that don't work of people, the age demographics of people that don't work, the gender demographics of people that don't or do work, and so on and so on and so on and so on. But eventually it will give up sometime. Usually after a few thousand clicks, if it's not gotten any sales, it'll just give up. And then that's the time when the standard shopping campaign can pick up that item. Where there's a practical use to run this hybrid model of PMAX and standard shopping campaign is that the standard shopping campaign pick up promoting any item that the PMAX campaign gave up on. And why the standard shopping campaign is going to be able to run a shopping placement that a PMAX campaign normally couldn't get to work for an item is when you add a negative keywords on that standard shopping campaign in order to make it a lot more efficient on that item sooner than later. Which, if you're wondering, that PMAX campaign not have that item show up for certain terms, that it could have just effectively ran its own negative keywords for that item, whereas you, a human, could run that standard shopping campaign with negative keywords and get that item to be profitable. The reality is PMAX, while it typically is going to make more money, more profit for a set items that you want to run in the shopping placements on Google, it'll make way more profit for those items than running those shopping placements through a standard shopping campaign 98% of the time. In some markets, such as if you sell branded items, let's say you sell branded necklaces, okay, which we actually had this use case. So with that, on the standard shopping campaign, what you can do is make it so that your shopping ad does not show up unless somebody types in that exact brand name with the word necklace on it. So Mary Kay necklace. If they don't type in Mary Kay necklace, the shopping ad won't show up. Whereas on the PMAX, the system is going to be set up to have your ad show up for necklaces for sale, all this other junk. And with that, by the way, you can have it, if you know what you're doing in terms of negative keyword sculpting, have your standard shopping campaign only show up when they're typing in not just Mary Kay necklace, but Mary Kay dream necklace, which is a very specific SKU that people would be looking for. You can have your shopping ad show up for that person searching for that exact SKU. And if they aren't searching for that exact branded item, the shopping ads don't show up, which makes, by default, the shopping ads way more efficient than they would otherwise. That is showing up for people that are not already deciding and wanting an exact item to find that item because they're looking to buy it or looking into basically buying that exact item. The conversion rates on that traffic where they're making that specific of search is going to be 10 times higher than somebody searching for necklaces for sale, at least. With that, you could give that item a second life, if you will. PMAX campaign wasn't able to get it to work. The standard shopping campaign will. Why? Because you are very diligent in every day coming into your campaign, looking at your search terms report, finding any search term in there that's not a make and model level search, Mary Kay dream necklace, Mary Kay beauty necklace, whatever it is, so that the shopping campaign only shows up, has ads show when people are typing in make and model level searches, Honda Civic 1.9 for sale, or not Hondas for sale or what have you, because the conversion rate on that traffic's much higher, and you have it kind of like as a backup fail-safe campaign to make sure items are going to get promoted. You may just ask, why don't you just run a standard shopping campaign and screw the PMAX campaign to run the shopping placement? Well, the reason for that is, by the way, PMAX, like I was mentioning earlier, it will typically do more profit on an item than a standard shopping campaign because a PMAX campaign is going to have more machine learning involved in optimizing your ads than a standard shopping is going to have, which is why we always run PMAX to run shopping placements instead of standard shopping. That is, unless we're unable to get items to work, like I mentioned here, or we don't have the luxury of waiting around for Google's system to find us an bare minimum ROI or ROAS that we need to be profitable with that PMAX campaign and can get to that bare minimum break-even ROI with the shopping campaign, standard shopping campaign, a lot sooner because we can get rid of all the short tail keywords, 2-word keyword search phrases, 3-word search phrases, and stop the shopping ads from showing up people making broad searches, necklaces for sale or diamond necklaces, stuff like that. Frankly, what you're paying for mostly with that is just to educate people on giving them ideas or that kind of thing, versus you jump in at the last second right before they're gonna buy and they're just doing some last minute price checks on seeing who they should be buying from, and you snipe the sale at the last second. So that's the specific situation where you would run the hybrid model and where it would actually become useful for you to make even more money than you could get through that PMAX campaign by itself. If you don't know for sure, of course, this is what we do for clients that are firm to know if you should have this hybrid set up or not. Reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. Be happy to have a conversation with you about the opportunity of working together, setting up a hybrid model, letting you know how much that'll get you in addition to what you have now, and then also offer you a guarantee along with it to get you so much more profit before charging a management fee, which of course the idea being that we'll give you a more additional profit on top of what you have now to offset the management fee before there's a management fee, because that's how we set things up. With that said, we don't work with just any client, so we got to know we can get you actual results to agree to take you on like that, but we can give you an 8-quarter projection on what that will do for you in addition to what you have already. If you like to manage your own campaign still, we also sell ad templates. I don't know why other agencies haven't caught on to this yet. Maybe they will sometime, but we have worked in over 200 niche markets in the last 10 years of running this advertising firm. And if we've already done work in your space, we've sold and you sell diamond necklaces, you do yourself a huge freaking favor just getting the access to the campaign templates and landing page templates to sell diamond necklaces. So you can use those in your own ad account, which have years of learnings built within them already that you're just going to automatically absorb because you have access to the campaign file to get those results. Literally a Google Ads editor file sell also a landing page template, an unbounce that you can literally get the copy paste into your unbounce account, which is a landing page tool, and get all those results for yourself with none of the time, effort, and money it took for us to figure all that out over years of optimizing a campaign for a client already. At the very least, you should reach out to us and see if we've worked in your space, and then therefore what results we've got, so you would know what you would stand to gain with it, and if it's, a great deal better than what you already have. And then, from there you can it'll be obvious of whether you want it or not. We've got people that use these templates to start whole other businesses. If you want to get into a business and have almost as sure of bet possible to make money, instead of just randomly saying, oh, I think this business will do well, just sell one of the products one of our clients do and sell it in a country that they're not in, and you'll have turnkey results because you have the exact ad template that sells it in country A for yourself to sell it in country B. Or you can do what a lot of our people have been doing, which is to take these templates to generate plumbing leads or electrical service leads or whatever, or outsource CFO leads and then sell the leads to people in that space, or answer the phone and sell it yourself and then outsource the work. This is so easy. I don't know why most people don't start there. They should, or at least start there, make money, and then get into doing your product engineering and try to start making bigger gambles with your money. But anyway, if you're interested in any of those other opportunities, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com, and I'll be happy to share what we have available. With that said, getting back to the topic at hand here, I mentioned the main reason why you would want to use a standard shopping campaign if you're already using PMAX, which is to get certain products to work better by adding more negative keywords. And this is particularly when you're talking about when you sell branded items. That is a Honda Civic, because people that already are looking for Honda Civic, when I have a car dealership and I sell Honda Civics, that's what's going to be what gets me the most serious buyer to my site out of all the people looking for a new car that they want to buy, obviously. If you don't actually have gotten to the point with your PMAX campaign that Google's exhausted all the ways that they can think of to market an item, that PMAX campaign is just simply going to hog all the impressions, no matter how high your bids are on that standard shopping campaign, by the way. The reason why Google does this is obvious, even though it's not published anywhere, because Google wants you to run PMAX campaigns. The reason why they want you to run PMAX campaigns is because they can sell ad inventory that doesn't have any demand for it, or very little demand. They know Google Display Network ads nobody wants because it's mostly full of bot traffic, not to say all, but a lot of, and in order to pump up the demand for the display network traffic to a higher level, because there's more people that want it, they artificially create that demand by wrapping it in with your shopping ads that you want to run through that PMAX campaign. And they basically take a gold bar, and in order to sell the gear that nobody wants, they stick right over underneath the gold bar, push it down at and pretend like you can't see it, and you end up having to buy both to get to the gold, if you will. This is one way that they've been trying to make more money. Looked into anything else they're doing lately, you can understand, what I'm saying here is true, because they're doing all kinds of things, such as get you addicted to the ads that you have, your search ads that are working, and then knock your campaign down temporarily to get you to bid more to get back to where you were as a fake out, which is called, by the way, squashing. You can Google this. Google Ads squashing techniques. This is not, and it's not speculation. This has been admitted in the depositions that courts have due to, and with Google's antitrust suit that they had recently, that they've admitted to, literally speaking. They're going to play any game and every game they can to get you to buy as much as you can, and they can only charge so much for their customers on Google search. Now it's how can we sell these other custom ads that nobody wants? And that's the main way that they're able to do it. Which, by the way, if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about here, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, typically within 24 hours time. Furthermore, if you want to know all the tricks, like I just discussed, and all the gotchas that's going to stop you from making the millions of dollars a year in your business, running ads for your business, you want to subscribe to this channel, because all that information that you want and need to know, all here for you, and it's coming from somebody who spends legitimately 40 hours a week already just doing testing to find out what all this stuff is, and I give it to you for free on this channel. It may not sound that impressive until you realize, and you're in the industry like I am, and you realize 99% of these other people that talk about how to make ads work online are not running any ads, and they're just regurgitating information that Google lists in their documentation or whatnot, or getting it from third, fourth hand sources, and it's not useful as a result of it. They're not actively in the trenches doing the actual work, therefore they don't know anything. You can't listen to them because you're not going to get any useful information out of them. You want to get the information straight from the source. You get it from this channel, so you should subscribe. You should also check my blog out if you're going to subscribe, because the blog has even better information that you should check out as well. You can find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog with all the step-by-step strategies we use to guarantee results for our clients as well. You want to definitely not miss that information if you're serious about making money with ads. You can't complain that you can't get results with that, with running online ads for your business, until you've reviewed this information, because I literally tell you, okay, click here, do this, all that. With that said, I mentioned if you stayed to the end of the video, I would have some actual information about how much more profitable you will be if you have this hybrid strategy. You actually do want to run both PMAX and standard shopping campaigns in concert. One of the different campaigns where we did this before was for a jewelry company specifically. And this was recently, where they sold branded jewelry as well as some unbranded jewelry itself. And we weren't able to unplateau the results anymore with that PMAX campaign. Like most people get and complain about more than anything else about PMAX campaigns, is Google decides to run some items over another, or over others. And they think, oh, this one works here, so they should run it more. When really, they have their own way of deciding what runs. And a lot of times, if you want to get an item pushed when they're not pushing it, is to separate it out into its own campaign. Well, with that said, we actually ran a standard shopping campaign just to do exactly what I mentioned, running a ton of negative keywords so that the items that wouldn't run would start to get run, and only though for the searches that are make and model specific. And we were able to get a good chunk of those products starting to work, get shown, actually get sales, the kind of ROI that the client needed and wanted for that to be considered profitable. It just took a lot of work of adding a lot of negative keywords, which a lot of that data had to come from their search campaigns that they were running for years, digging through it, finding over 10,000 negative keywords to add to the standard shopping campaign so that it would only run high and tight like that, just show up for the make and model searches, but was able to be profitable once we added those negative keywords, and then gave it another 60 to 90 days of just with the target ROAS bidding to ultimately get to the results we want, and adding negative keywords during that additional 60 to 90 days that we kicked the campaign on, because right away we had to add all the negative keywords to the campaign that we found from the search campaigns. Then we had to run the campaign with target ROAS bidding, going in there daily to add more negative keywords on top of that to get to the level of ROI that we needed with it. Whereas the PMAX campaign was already getting about a 650% ROAS already, which they're happy with, i.e. around a 15% marketing cost. Standard shopping campaign was already able to get up to that within 90 days of running the items that the PMAX campaign couldn't really get to work, or it got a couple sales, but the amount of impressions that item was getting started to peter off, which is that's what pisses people off the most about PMAX. Why isn't it running it more? Well, instead of just running another PMAX campaign to run your items that aren't getting promoted very much, why not run a standard shopping campaign to run those items so that you can have even more results quicker? Because it's not just going to show up for everything. It's going to show up for things that it should show up for, specifically that you already know as a company. Most customers are ways that people are going to type their searches in that normally are going to result in a sale, like I was mentioning before, these make and model searches itself. That's your, if you will, example of how well this can work and how quickly it can actually work. Whereas if you set up a separate PMAX campaign for those same items, which we didn't do it, there's no way to run a split test for that, or we could have, but we're not going to. That 60 to 90 days would be nowhere near enough time to get those items to work. Particularly as once Google has already ran those items in one PMAX campaign and you run it in another, it's going to have a negative bias towards those items. Whereas a standard shopping campaign, it doesn't have those biases right from the get-go. Which, you can separate items and put items that aren't running very much in a PMAX campaign and into another PMAX campaign to get it to run a lot more. That will happen. It can run even faster, that is, get more impressions even faster on those items, just running it in a standard shopping campaign. But then on top of it, get to an ROI that you need quicker, because you can add the negative keywords that you need right off the bat and do it aggressively to get things onto the track quicker. So if the items were actually legitimately struggling to get an ROI, which is why they're not showing, and that's a lot of times what's happening, you're going to be able to fix that issue through the standard shopping that the PMAX campaign algorithm was not able to go with initially, when they were just running through that PMAX campaign by itself. So anyway, with that said, that pretty much wraps up everything I can tell you about this hybrid strategy, PMAX and shopping campaigns, running them at the same time. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said PMAX Campaign S was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.